Took a trade today on NQ, which netted me over 220 points and over $800. So my thought process, charting session today on the 30th of July 2024. Let's go. So on the daily time frame, we can see price has been making high highs towards the upside, indicating bullish order flow. Until quite recently, it has shown strong bearish signal. And if I was to put some annotations on the chart, we can see that there was a liquidity sweep here with a market structure shift here, further showing bearish evidence. And what price is doing at the moment, I'm looking for price to be magnetized towards the sell side liquidity here at around 18,500. So why do I think price is moving towards the downside? Quite recently, the chart has actually shown me as well that downside is a real potential move because, as you can see, yesterday's candle actually swept the previous candle's high, the buy side liquidity, indicating that once those orders and buy stops have been taken, smart money will look to take the price towards the downside. So if I was to chuck back my annotations, let's go to the 1 hour chart. We can see that more clearly. I'll then put my session indicator on. So I normally trade the New York session at 9:30, right? And we can also see that price has swept liquidity here during the Asian session. So once liquidity has been swept, price will normally travel towards the opposite end. And I was actually waiting for this price movement here during the New York session. Now we can see on the 1 hour there isn't much opportunity for entry because the candles are rather big. So I was actually monitoring this on the 5 minute. This is when things got interesting. So we can see there was a liquidity rate here towards the upside. Many retail traders would possibly enter buys here because you see this bullish candle, and a lot of them just think, hey, look, price is going up, let's buy. But patience pays. So what I did was I waited for price to open at 9:30. 8:30 is normally when the New York session opens, but I wait for 9:30 because that's when equities open. I like for 8:30 price action to play out first. That will give me enough information for me to decide whether I want to take a trade, and that will give me good decision making process to think. So at 9:30 you can see that wicks have been made towards the upside, and I didn't actually trade till around here because we can see I wanted to see where price was going to go, because now that price has taken liquidity on the buy side, there were all this sell side liquidity that was generated, like you're talking about here, right? So many, 1, 2. These are all jagged movements what price make, because there will be a lot of stop loss and sell stops here, or rather retail traders order, which I've said before, price will eventually in the near future look to run them all at once, right? So if I take these away just to make them clearer, we can see that price, it's actually real time at the moment. It's 11:44 in New York. Price actually traveled all the way down, and I was actually looking for price to eventually be magnetized towards this short-term sell side liquidity here. But down to the 1 minute, and if I chuck my executions on with my labels, I'll tell you guys why I took the trade. So now that we know the high time frame bias is bearish, right? So we want to make sure that when we look for entry opportunities in the lower time frame, we want it to align with the high time frame bias. That will give us a lot more confluence and probability of your trade being able to play out. And not just that, if you go to the 5 minute time frame, we can also see that there was a market maker sell model that has played out really beautifully, because like I said before, jagged movements towards the upside is when smart money is generating liquidity, and all these liquidity will be hunted in one stroke towards the downside or upside if it's a buy side. So if I take these arches away because they don't look too good on the charts, I'm just showing it for to add to the confluence. So you must know whether it's in a buy market or a sell market when it comes to market maker. So on a 1 minute chart, I was waiting for price to actually tip its hand to see what sort of pattern, or rather movements it's showing me. Like I've said before, there was a liquidity sweep here. Look at all these equal highs being swept. Impatient retail traders would actually take this opportunity to, make or trade or execute their buys here, but without taking into account high time frame buyers, you're just shooting in the dark. So at 9:30, that's right here, we can see price moved higher, but in actual fact, it's actually a smoke screen. Smart money will induce retail buyers here before rushing towards the downside. Now we can see on the 1 minute as well, there was a market structure shift just here, right? But sometimes on a 1 minute, it's not really too convincing for me when it comes to market structure shift or pattern trading. So I normally like to go down to the 5 minute to give me a little bit more confirmation, or sometimes the 15 minutes. So we can see evidently that all this liquidity has been taken in one stroke of displacement. We can see that there was a 5 minute fair value gap that has been put in here. So when fair value gap occurs, it just shows you that displacement happened. That means smart money has made a big move towards the downside or upside with a lot of energy. That's when you know smart money is in play, because they've got the capital and the capacity to make moves like that. So excuse me, what made me enter this trade right here, as you can see, TS, it's short form for turtle soup. Like every time when a trade happens, like I've said before, if the market is looking to travel towards the downside, right, it will make a, oh, where's my path? Looking for the path. Yeah, here it goes. So I'll give an example. When the market is looking to, when it's bearish and when it goes down, the market will normally travel straight up, induce buyers before traveling down. So this is your sell model. And if it's a buy model, you'll be traveling here, accumulating, manipulate, and distribute. So this will be a sell model. So you accumulate, induce buyers before selling. And this is the buy model, where you accumulate, where smart money accumulates, it induces sellers before going up. So this is what I did. So I already know on the daily bias, high time frame bias, it's bearish. And now we've got confirmation that on the 5 minute and the 1 minute that, it's looking to potentially travel to the downside, because it's got a market structure shift. It's made and created a 5 minute fair value gap. Also, if I take this model and I chuck it here, we can see it aligns really well. Now, I'm not a pattern trader. I trade on logic, but understanding how market moves and how the smart money prints its price, that's where the key is. That's where how you know when to trade. So I'm already really confident where the market's going to travel towards the downside. So this pattern here is just merely like this. So accumulate, manipulate, inducing buyers, and sell. So I took my trade here. There was 3 micro lots at 10.08. I took off partially one here at 10.29. I further took off one here, and there could be a reason why I took one off here. Well, I think it was because, let's go down to the 15-minute and you'll probably be able to see. So if I took off one here, there was possibly a sell side liquidity that I wanted to make sure that I take one off, because sometimes you don't know what the market's going to do. It could potentially just reverse, right? You just don't know where price is going to. Yeah, that's right. So there's a 1 minute sell side liquidity which I progressively took partials off, and I finally took it off here. That was another level of sell side liquidity that was printed right here. That was sometime last week. So I think price is eventually going to travel towards the downside here, but I only trade from 9:30 to 11:30, so I wasn't willing to wait for too long. And furthermore, I've already netted over around 220 not pips is forex, 220 points and over $800 today. So I hope this video has been really helpful for you. Just to recap, we saw that there was bearish move, there was bearish momentum on the high time frame. So bearing that in mind, for our lower time frame buyers, we also want to keep in mind that we want to follow higher time frame buyers. So we're only looking for shorts. So you can see on the 1 hour, eventually price traveled downwards, and if we're looking for sells, what's the pattern going to be like? The pattern's going to be like this: accumulate, induce buyers. So where's my path again? So accumulate, induce buyers before rushing towards the downside. That's a sell, and the opposite applies for the buys. And we can see on the 1 minute as well. So we've got our 1 hour daily all aligned towards the buys of being bearish. So now we just look for bearish opportunities in the 1 minute model. A lot of entries, opportunities that's given. So we can see here, like I said, we can market structure shift, turtle soup, all the way down. Now time is fractal, so it showed manipulation on the daily time frame. You can see as well there are multiple manipulation here. So one, another one here. There's one turtle soup here, one turtle soup here. Wait, can you spot another one? Right here as well. So the more time you spend on your chart, the more natural, and I would say the more clearer it becomes to you. So yeah, that was another good charting session on the 30th of July 2024. Hope you guys found it useful. Like I said, I'll catch you guys at the next one.